shopping. Straight with the family, we paying for nothing. Taught that little bitch how to turn up her chakras. Taught her about gold, that silver, that copper. Alchemy, alchemist, alkaline water. Drip like waterfall, drip like a fox.
I'm gonna give y'all minutes to get in here and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good little talk. And then, you know what I'm saying, right now. Just vibe, enjoy the vibe, enjoy the ride. You know what I'm saying? As we lift in the sky. Yeah.
Fucking experience. You can go down, I'ma float on my spirit. They want me drowning. I go up the peace side, yeah. I go up, they want me drowning. At the peace side, yeah, yeah. Spiritual neighborhood, know how I'm rocking. I didn't sit back and create all these chakras. Kill rap, C-Doe, 2 bro, taping poppers. They want me back like they missing their father. I'm killing these niggas that wanna be caught up. Shorty, she said it, she better, she love me. I gave her dick and I flamed up the ganja. Shorty still got her little tongue when she swallow. Get in that head while I'm reading the Bible. Doing this ritual, sweating this ritual. I do this ritual shit for survival. Making ideas, I'm worshiping idols. Keeping that balance, I'm surfing this title. Mercury, put it on birth. I got spirits around me that's gonna take them to church like they want me drowning. I go up the peace side, yeah. I go up, they want me drowning. I go up the peace side, yeah, yeah. When it all falls down, you'll be the one reaching for the
ground. Time out, Scalesito, Spirko. Get your ass in shape and form for the Age of Aquarius. Yet again. That was spiritual heaven. You know what I'm saying? We all going to spiritual heaven today. We all going to spiritual heaven today. So, you know, we got it's Pisces season. So I just want to show y'all my dream catchers. Because we catching all bad illusions, delusions, and we taking them out. We're catching all negative energies, all energies of you know, like confusion, of like unclearness, of unsatisfaction and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? We about to get rid of these energies. We about to get rid of these motherfucking energies. You feel me? We taking all those energies and getting them away. Because for the most part, we need each other, right? Don't y'all need each other? Don't y'all need each other? Don't we need each other? If we talking about this black unity shit, don't we need each other? What is the point? You know what I'm saying? Ain't we supposed to be doing shit together? Ain't we supposed to be building together? It seemed like everybody in their own space. It seemed like everybody separate. Hold on, let me make sure my mic is good. My mic. Oh yeah, I'm good. So yeah, we need to be together and shit like that. We need to be a part of it. And it ain't really too many people that's trying to really be a part of it, a part of the conversation and shit like that. A part of what's going on in the world, deeply embedded and shit like that. It's just everybody blind. So when it comes to this conversation and this topic, that's what we're gonna start off. And the first start of what we're gonna start talking about is what the blacks actually need. What the fuck is the title? Hold on. Give me a second. We gotta get this title right. So what real black unity actually requires and shit like that. We gotta see what it actually requires and shit like that. How do we get to the thick of it? Now, I'm gonna stop rambling and shit like that. But I'm so passionate about this shit and stuff because this is what affect me in my actual life. You know what I'm saying? This is what affect me in my actual life. I actually got to get up and go to work and work and ain't nothing wrong with work, right? You have your own job and things of that nature. Um, but it's more so, what is the legacy behind it? What is the future behind it? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to work just to work because that's what you got to do and shit like that? Sacrifice your time, sacrifice your creativity, sacrifice your ability to express and uphold what you want to uphold and things of that nature. If you can't do none of that and shit like that, you might as well die early. You know what I'm saying? These are the very primitive things that affect your mind, right? When you talk about, you actually, don't they say when you happier you live younger? So take that in the instance of being blockaded and things of that nature, not feeling like your creativity is shit. You know what I'm saying? Not feeling like how you express yourself is shit, not feeling like how you think is shit, not feeling like, you know what I'm saying, your culture is shit, not feeling like you help, being blocked all the time and shit like that. These are the things that need to get debunked and shit like that. So therefore, the conversation can be more clearer. And once we get more clear conversation with each other, from even starting from a subconscious spot, this is how we get today and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's more accessible, where we got more platforms, more people talking about certain subjects and shit like that. And that is, I was obviously influencing the culture to proceed a certain way and things of that nature. All the way down to now everybody into astrology and shit like that. And I was on that shit like 10 years ago. But these are the things, and it matters and shit like that. So the whole premise of this video, what real black unity actually requires, is because we got to start somewhere. And where do we start? So, you know what I'm saying? I got my motherfucking playbook and shit like that. First of all, time out is Calcito, the spirit coach, getting your ass in shape and form for the age of Aquarius. Yet again, you're now drinking wine of Zeus. All right. So, what actually do we need though? You know what I'm saying? So, the premise is that first off, we got to heal. You know, we got to heal our home and shit like that. We got to heal the motherfucking home. We got to heal the motherfucking home. I'm going to say that again. We got to heal the motherfucking home, right? And now, before we even get to what home is, this is all of us looking to each other and things of that nature. All of us looking to your next door neighbor and shit like that. Them looking to you for upliftings. You know what I'm saying? You looking to them for guidance and things of that nature. And when it comes to the black diaspora, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna break that down too, because that's a vague ass statement. But when it comes to black people and things of that nature, there's internal shit in the home. Other than that, we wouldn't have no situations like Glorilla and shit like that and her sister. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have no situations like that. We wouldn't have no situations like that. So why we got situations like that, and that reflect 98% of, you know, people in the black community home and shit like that. And there are situations. Okay? So first we gotta heal that home, right? You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to come to clear conclusions about what you actually went through. You know what I'm saying? So therefore you can deal with your trauma. You know what I'm saying? You can deal with your trauma. And then once you deal with that, you know what I'm saying? Now you can deal with uh things more on a personal standpoint. Your comfortability. What for you came from your home, right? Your family and shit like that. But now you got your own individuality because you got things that your family didn't know about. You into things that your family didn't know about. You here to expand the world. You here to take it a step further. So you're not here to talk about the same things in the same way or see the world in the same way. You're supposed to add on to it. You as a spirit, as a person here to do God's will and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Adding on, bringing more. Then third, once we do that, you know what I'm saying? Once we got the home, we didn't forgave ourselves for our trauma and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't got our individuality, right? You know what I'm saying? The ability to be comfortable with yourself, the ability to be comfortable and spread your message no matter what, no matter if it look like nobody connecting, no matter if it's one person, you do it for you and God. And God see what you doing, and that energy compounds. It ain't about what's happening at the moment. You know what I'm saying? You in a space where it compounds, and people always attracted to character and shit like that. They always attracted to people that put in work and things. So it ain't about no moment of attention at the moment and shit like that. Then, you know, moving on, once you hear that part, you can go into broader concepts where, okay, now you're a representation for your community. You're a representation for the world. You're a representation for your surroundings and things of that nature. Because now you're a person that brings a certain value. You're a person that brings a certain energy, character and shit like that. And they be playing with my numbers too, but you know what I'm saying, just hone in and things of that nature. This is for you and things. This is for you. So if you a person that's in the black community, that you know, you understand that, damn, why I'm not working with my cousin, why I gotta leave my family, why I gotta spend time away from my family to do this, why I gotta why I gotta tell my cousin they can't come along when I go into these rooms and shit like that. Okay, motherfucker, that's telling you that somebody else running the show. So you need to know what's going on within you and within your home and your family structure that's been destroyed and shit like that, so y'all can start getting more on a connected energy of, okay, what is this, and then we can move to the broader home, the home we sharing and shit like that, and everybody can have their own space and things of that nature. If it's not no perspective on it, it's an unhealed home. It's a doghouse. You know what I'm saying? And things, and nobody got no values behind it. Nobody got no culture behind it, and whatever. So like I said, the premise of this video, right, is to heal, is for us to heal the home. Now, now, some of the reasons people even think, we're gonna get into the video now, the thick of the video and shit like that. That was just my introduction and things. But you know, like I said, I'm passionate, so I want people to know like where what this is coming about. And we in this energy this time, everybody waking up, that's good, I'm proud and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying, there's things going on, and y'all gotta know what y'all dealing with. That's what I'm saying. It's like, just like you on soil and you on land and things like that, think about people like Kanye West. This was his home, but he didn't know what he was dealing with until he dealt with it. You get what I'm saying? Oh, now he understands the broader aspect of the home that he in. You get what I'm saying? So if you ain't looking at it from that context and shit like that, it's cap. It's cap. Now, some of the reasons people even think to start being in these fields, whether rap, whether basketball player, or whether actor, especially in the black American community, is because they're thinking how to make it out the struggle. That's the first thing you need to know. They trying to find a way to make it out the struggle. Okay, a doctor not enough, a mechanic not enough, you know, a lawyer, unless you got some good, you know what I'm saying, parents on your hands and things of that. But we gonna get into that. But a doctor not enough, a mechanic not enough, um, um, you know what I'm saying, electrician not enough. You know, it from your primitive mind state of growing up as a teen and adolescence in the black experience. Like if you didn't actually been through the shit, if you didn't actually been through the trenches, if you didn't actually been through Section 8, if you didn't actually been through Link Card, if you didn't actually been through genocide where your parents been slaughtered, mixed up, you know what I'm saying, assimilated into culture. If you actually in that experience, y'all hit that like button too, man. Y'all hit that like button too. We trying to get our likes up and shit if y'all fucking with it. Hit that like button. But yeah, now if you actually in these experiences and things of that nature, this is why you even picking these things like rapper, basketball player, actor, because for the most part, the way it's presented is a symbol to get out. You know what I'm saying? A symbol to where you can still kind of fully be the flamboyant American that you are and shit like that without actually going corporate. But you know what I'm saying? You can still actually do you. So these are things and characters that people cling to and try and mend their character to represent them, and it actually look like, okay, I can get my mama a house, I can get my cousin a house, I can get my, you know what I'm saying. So that's the first thing you need to know. That's the even reason why people picking these things and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Now, if other things were modified in this way, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. But, this is business and things of that nature. Y'all know who to run this business. I don't even have to say the name. But, this is business when it comes to crafting these things and shit, and it was crafted by a certain group of people, just like the other jobs were crafted by certain groups of people and fit a certain description for certain groups of people. So that's why you can't even be in those things if you don't do the participation rituals and, you know what I'm saying, what it takes to make somebody feel like you're comfortable enough to be um acquired or required for that spot and things. So that's not enough. So when you young and stuff like that, and you looking at these things, you like, okay, I gotta be this. You know what I'm saying? Because this is gonna help me get richer, and I have more opportunities to be more richer and being myself, right? And if you're not thinking about it like that and stuff like that, like I said, you probably got foreign parents or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You probably got you probably got uh you probably just seeking attention. So it start with your family, and this is how, like, we got situations like the Glorilla situation. It's the main reason for getting into these things, where you see her sister talk about how they were sleeping on the floor and things of that nature. You don't think that motivated them? Whatever. You don't think they had talks about, okay, man, we got to make it. You know what I'm saying? We got to do this. And boom, okay, it's enough of motivation where she was at the right place, right time, and she landed that thing. Hit that like button. She landed that deal or whatever. She landed that situation or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? These are the things that we pay attention to early on, you know what I'm saying, to even be in this position. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's two types of people. There's people that actually go through those things like Section 8 and those things that, you know what I'm saying, go through them backgrounds. But there's other people, you know what I'm saying, that's, like I said, that's more well off. You know what I'm saying, that get to America, that come to America, and they're more so in a space of, they just gotta do what they gotta do because they start seeing America as America and shit like that. And yeah, you may get your ass classified. You welcome to the slave labor. But you know what I'm saying. The problem be, once we get into these things and stuff like that, we start to see it's fashion and shit like that. So we start to see, you can't send your cousin $4,800 like Jay-Z and shit said. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing you can't just do that and things of that nature, because it's two sides to it. One side is that, you know what I'm saying, you have uneducated family members and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying, where that ain't mean they negative people or whatever. It just means they may not understand white business. You know what I'm saying? They may not understand how to move and things, or certain nuances and things. They may still be dealing with traumas and things of that nature. So you got that side, right? Then you got another side where it's others and things of that nature creating these circumstances and situations for y'all to be in and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? For the divide to happen. And so, this leads to things of us like not having a culture of your own. And this is why you got to go to another person, right? That ain't your people, just to get taken advantage of. In this circumstance and opportunity wouldn't even be possible if it wasn't for colonization, right? So the reason why you want to be a rapper and stuff like that, because white man allowed it and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They said you can do this in this way. So we appreciate the conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? People like Vic Mensa and shit like that speaking out, opening, conversation. But before we become black cultural warriors and shit like that, this is the meat of the bone. You know what I'm saying? And this is the actual thing that we actually got to look at deeply and connect to deeply, to actually heal this and shit like that. Like we got Jupiter retrograde in Cancer too, like that. So we already relearning home, relearning vulnerability, relearning ourselves. And you know what I'm saying? It's cool you like on platforms and things, trying to find yourself and things, but let's really get to it and things like that. Let's really get to the conversation and shit like that. So these is the very things that you know that keep people not understanding what they in. You know what I'm saying? As far as the black diaspora or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we know that and things of that nature. And a lot of us grow up not knowing. A lot of us, well, we probably know it now because we all mature adults. Like, you can tell, okay, this person was a little bit more well off based upon they family member maybe be a later foreigner and stuff like that. But they didn't actually go through that system where they family is connected to the history of colonization of America. You know what I'm saying? They coming in after the fact and things of that nature, and they just want to kind of belong somewhere and things of that nature. They just want to, you know what I'm saying? They want to experience what the people experience. Why? Because that brings creativity. It creates the best music, creates the best stories. You know what I'm saying? Creates the best. So it's a difference between being on the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we gotta. That's the conversation that is frustrating, and the problem between the American blacks. You know what I'm saying? That's got more history embedded in with the U.S. than foreign blacks and shit like that. And that's rooted in the situation of basically the blind leading the blind. For instance, like I said, we create what's popping with culture. So we create, you know what I'm saying, we create the dances, we create the music and shit like that. The American identity in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And we create the black American identity, pretty much. And usually these are people that come through that's been through this poverty shit, that's been through this shit of not knowing who they are, not knowing who they erasure because they gotta create it. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have nothing but to create it. So this is what we create, and that's whether you're a foreigner and you're identifying with black music. You could be identifying with black music. You know what I'm saying? You could be identifying with black fashion, or you could be identifying with black aesthetic. It don't matter if it's coming from the American melting pot and things of that nature. That's mostly, I'm gonna say, mostly Native American shit, right? And is mostly the Africans that came over here and shit like that was mixed in with the rest of us and things of that nature. But y'all gotta understand that black was created to mix in certain Native Americans first with Africans and shit like that. That's why they even came up with that. So it ain't that they was trying to create a lower inferior race and shit like that. So I'm not then this not to say all black people is Native Americans. That's not true. But it is mixed. It's very more is way more mixed than y'all think and things of that nature. And we look a certain way. We got a certain aura. We think a certain way and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times, some people get it, the bloodline flowing and shit like that, depending on what state your mom and your dad was in when they was having you. But you know what I'm saying? Regardless, you know what I'm saying? This is how this energy always remains and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing is, no connection to home. So no connection to culture, no connection to the way to use this. Hit that like button if y'all feel me. So, like I said, we create what's popping. So, whatever you identify with, black music, that ain't happening in Europe. That ain't happening in Africa. That's happening over here because it's a certain people over here and it's a certain way to do it. So, this is where you get the culture from and shit like that. Now, American experience versus the foreign black experience. So one person might get into these things because they actually experience this lifestyle, which pushes them to become the best in their region and community, mainly to get out of their situation and pivot into a more suitable situation for their family Now, and another person may do this for the purpose of, like I said, everybody got problems. However, it is the lack of understanding of the context of the situation that they are actually in that keeps them aimlessly going for money. So we got this on both sides. You got black people that's been here, that's family embedded in the system, been in the erasure system, um, of erasing your history, whether you black, or you African, or you got Native American in you and shit like that. So we got that branch of shit. What the fuck is that? Yeah. So like I said, we got that group of people. You know what I'm saying? And we got the other people over here that's just doing this for everybody because everybody got problems and shit like that. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? I can be a rapper, right? And I can be doing this to, uplift my family. Like I said, you only doing these things because the situation you in. So I could be rapping and trying to get myself out of my situation, right? You and what people not gonna understand is that you gonna have other people that see what I'm doing, but because their experience is different, they might do the same thing and things, but do it in a white man way. You get what I'm saying? So their whole agenda is not to forward our agenda, which is to push the culture forward and things of that nature, push the message forward, push the native history forward, push the home of it. That's what I'm saying. We got to heal the home, push the home story of where we at is to it's not to push that story forward. It's to it's to it's to gain money and shit like that. And that's where the lines get blurred and things of that nature. And now this is why we got the problems with the black culture, the African culture, because nobody is understanding the situation that they are in. Everybody's in la la land, everybody's in limbo and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, black people don't know their history, they don't know where they came from and things of that nature. So and they've been mixed in and stuff like that, even if they was in the erasure of their African history and shit like that. If you over here and you African and you don't know your history, likely your parents and shit was in the early colonization phase and things of that nature, when they was, you know what I'm saying, being dirty, when it wasn't no social media, when it wasn't no me, they was having a way over here. The camera and the video then get created to the damn, I want to say close to the goddamn 1900s. So it was a lot of dirty shit going over here, a lot of erasure, a lot of killings and shit like that before they even started putting shit out for y'all to even see and things of that nature. And that started really with the generals and shit like that, and them getting greedy and shit like that late in the 1700s and things of that nature. So, like I said, one person might get into these things because they actually experienced this lifestyle. They experience, what I'm saying, their erasure, experience no hope, and this actually pushed them to become the best in their region community, right? This is what they do. And mainly it's two, though, the whole premise of them doing this thing is to get out their situation. They looking at it like, man, if I do this, I can get rich and uphold my family, right? Then you got another person, maybe another black person that may be over here and participating in things of that nature. They family didn't go what your family went through. They family got a whole different type of story, a whole different traveling, coming over here and getting it in while it's good type shit. So this is clashing, you know what I'm saying, mixing people up and things is called assimilation into culture and things, where another person that look like you that might not have as much as you got first dibs on this and things of that nature, especially if you under the American psyop of assimilation into black. This is what they've been doing. They wanted to mix y'all up with Africans because that was their kind of first version of slaves that they came over here with and things of that nature. I got videos on this. I've been talking about this. Hit that like button, hit that like button, and things of that nature. Hit that like button, hit that like button. But yeah, however, let's move on. However, it is a lack of understanding of the context of the situation that they are actually in. So this keeps them aimlessly what? Going for money. The black person don't know who the fuck they is. They gonna go for money. They don't feel like studying. They don't feel like being a part of their spiritual history is gonna be cool. They don't feel like standing out is gonna be cool. They don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna gain traction. Why? Because it's set up for it not to be that way. It's set up for you to be some mixed, lost foreigner that ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying, your people. That's why when you talking about killing your people, you know what I'm saying, when you talk when you talking about getting over on your people, and when you talking about fuck your people, I had to do what I want to do, and you know what I'm saying. When your mind stop there, not why I ain't got a school, why I ain't got a college, why I ain't got a government sanction. Y'all minds don't even go past there. Why I ain't, you know what I'm saying? What you don't even think like that's possible. Yet somebody came over here and did that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? And they don't deserve nothing more than you. So when your mind stop there and things of that nature, you just gonna go for the money and things of that nature. That's white man culture. Now, I'm not saying money don't help, but if we gonna keep making it about that, we just gonna have situations like Glorilla and shit like that, where your sister come on here and out you out because yeah, you thought it was good and stuff like that, going in that path, but once you get in that path, you see you can't even help your family for real because they halfway retarded and things of that nature. Not gonna know how to get they one two together based upon them being so rocked to sleep into culture and things of that nature. Lost culture, right? Black culture, lost black culture, and shit like that. That's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see motherfuckers rock to sleep like that. So, um, but if we go, like I said, if we gonna keep making it about it like that, it ain't it's gonna be white man culture, aka that's my sister. She teaching me, okay, I gotta not give a fuck about my family. Okay, now we passing that down. And I gotta give a fuck about not my family people not being right and shit like that to save my life. I gotta give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Now people don't learn about what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? They learn how what you do type shit. So you could be talking all as good as game on these platforms and shit like that. Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do this. We need to do this. But they're watching you take white man interviews, talk white man business, give white man talking points, give, you know what I'm saying, white man advice and things of that nature. Yeah, go get you a 401k and thing. That nigga, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So people is learning that. So it ain't even really about what you saying. People is learning that. You know what I'm saying? For instance, I could be from somebody from the hood that really been through shit. Now let's say I start gaining influence. People not gonna look at it as a standpoint of like, okay, this is something he doing that represents the core of what's needed. So let's make sure we all protect this, even if what he's saying don't look cool, or you know what I'm saying, or even if what he's saying um ain't normal or some shit like that, or look at it as like this a root that we gotta cater to, and it's something that we all need to protect, even if we gotta be at odds with anything else. That's what I'm trying to say. So even if we gotta be like, nah, fuck this, you know what I'm saying? Even if you do like this other thing that, you know what I'm saying, that's being rooted for or whatever, you do like this other thing, but a lot of black people don't have that energy where it's like, you know, we gonna protect this person or this idea or this group thing we got because we need to protect this of because it's our culture, it's our how we do shit. Black people don't have no culture. You know what I'm saying? Y'all culture low key is white man culture. So when y'all don't think about it like, let's be on some mob shit. Let's, even if we do like the other person, we still gotta be like loyal. You know what I'm saying? We still gotta be like, fuck them. We still gotta be like, no, we got the best shit. No, we got the hardest astrology. We got the hardest music. We got the hardest clothes. We got the hardest way of dressing. No, y'all go wherever the money go and things of that nature. Y'all. So this not all black people, but this is just the culture of black people in general. Why? Because it's a lot of different black people. Nobody know their history. Nobody know where they come from. Nobody know how to mix and things, or where they mixture is at and things. They don't know if they mix with this, mix with that, whatever, or what they represent. You know what I'm saying? That's why Native Americans, we always find our back and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We always find our way back. We always find our way with the spirituality and things of that nature. It's things just be embedded, and there's some certain things that you can have and bring here from other lifetimes and shit like that. But this is, see, even me saying that, like, that may be weird to the average individual, but it makes sense to a Native American. Go watch videos online. Go watch videos online. So, but the average black person, because they've been assimilated, likely they don't got no real fight and shit like that and things of that nature. They thinking about Walt Disney and how to have a check or something like that. They thinking about, they next Nike Air Force One and shit like that. They don't identify with the social and the class differences, so they don't have no talking points. They don't care about the classes you in and things of that nature. They actually just look at you like, oh, you broke, so you just need to be doing something or something. You ain't doing nothing wrong, which is true to the extent. Everybody got to get their 1-2 together, but it is some truth in the system being broken and ruled against y'all in some way. Or it's just more convenient for them to misidentify with the totality of experience. You know what I'm saying? I want to play a game. You know what I'm saying? I want to play a game and keep it. I'm saying real shit. Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck y'all got going on, man? What y'all got going on, man? What y'all got going on? What they got going on, chat? That's just weird. So, whether you're disconnected from your language, your culture, your spiritual system, and you lean towards more one suitable for survival, like Christianity and stuff like that. This keeps the interpolation of American blacks confused amongst the race, divided in the sense of the agenda, because some people just, like I said, they disconnected, so they don't care about that they lost the language. They don't care about they lost their cultural identity and things of that nature. They don't care about they lost their spiritual system and shit like that. They don't care, so they lean more towards ones that feel safe, and the ones that feel safe help you get in the business. Now, don't that look like a motherfucking badge to me? That sounds like a badge to me. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a badge you gotta wear to get in God's good graces or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They God or something like that. Like, y'all gotta think a little bit. Think, 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 right? Because now you got some black folks with different experience being used to speak for all in many ways, and now they rewriting the narrative. And that could silently still be contributing to the genocide of others. You get what I'm saying? So because you're not connected to the home and things of that nature, because you're not connected to learning yourself and things of that nature, I'm just American and things of that nature. I don't care about, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about the past or whatever. We start now and things. And you, like I said, you got to keep your best foot forward and things, but having your mind on things that's not rewriting, that's like escapism and shit like that, that still contributes to the genocide of things, because your language ain't involved. You ain't gonna have no position in office. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have no ability to know where the fight is at. So you kind of lost and shit like that. You got a loss. So when you do hear people speak not FBA or ADOS, whatever the fuck they call, or even when you do hear people speak up, even if it's nonsense, why it may come off like they're having disdain, having pushback, having authority complex going on, it's because of that. It's because of what I'm talking about. Because it's like, it's frustrating knowing your experience, but not knowing how to communicate it to somebody else, because white people did witchcraft and shit like that, and they destroyed all your ancestors and shit like that. Killed all y'all dads and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's still going on today. So we single-handedly and arguably create the most influential things in the world. But the aim is directed in an area that only creates distrust, where we're not benefiting or stimulating the root of the tree, which is y'all created the creativity. Y'all got the best singer. Y'all got the best ideas. Y'all got the best imaginations. When do that switch shut off? When you in corporate world, when you got to show up from some white man or some check or something like that. So that be the issue. Y'all don't trust that. So the industry is created for you to distrust your family member, distrust your ability, distrust yourself to get this shit in order, to get other people in order and shit like that, to give other people ideas in order and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a flaw. That's a flaw because that's what people. That's what create people like. I don't want to say that it was Kanye West, but yeah, and things. You know what I'm saying? You see, he had to go all the way white and shit like that. He had to go all the way white to become a billionaire and shit like that. So you either gotta put a lot of people in jail based upon your character type, Jay Z. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, whatever you gotta do, you gotta do it. You gotta be some use of accessibility to wrap people into, oh, we from America, we from New York. No, all most of these states and cities is named after Native American shit. You know what I'm saying? So y'all from Native America land and things of that nature, and the spirits still live on through people, through the air, through the trees, through the imagination. That's so even if you've been here for a long time, you still got American Native American blood because the atmosphere rules the human based upon the space you in. That's what how you gonna develop. That's gonna affect your development level, type shit. You get what I'm saying? So it ain't just something that you can just forget about or you can just push to the side if you in this space with us and things of that nature. That's why everybody come over here. Tory Lanez get wet. You know what I'm saying? He get some American pussy. You just in jail somewhere. Like it's crazy. You gotta be careful with America. America change your whole outlook about shit. You know what I'm saying? It's the West. It's the West. But yeah, so like I said, we create the arguably create the most influential things in the world, but the aim is directed in an area that only creates distrust and things of that nature. And so if you're not, so you now you can look at black people a little bit more deeper on why they don't trust going into government, why they don't trust government, why it ain't no skeptical thing. It's more so it don't contribute to the nature of who we actually need to be or who we actually need to grow into and things of that nature from just the trauma of erasure and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody goddamn tell me who I was. I found out who I was. I always, you know what I'm saying, create bodies and shit like that and shit for the next lifetime to find out who I was. But you know what I'm saying, the average person, you know what I'm saying, they might not know about this or they just might be just unfortunately stuck into the foreigner lost concept. And these is the actual people that grow up lost and be shooting and killing people and all of it. A lot of the people that's um you know what I'm saying, locked up right now, either more I mean is more mixed and shit like that. They don't got no identity. So now we can get into what really matters though. Let's get into what really matters when it comes to creating communities and things of that nature. What really matters when it comes to creating healthy homes. What really matters. The first thing you need to have first is character dependence. So knowing that you're fit for that identity and stuff like that. We need to know that you fit for that identity when it comes to working together and shit like that. If we don't trust that we can't depend on your character and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? This is a big problem in family households. Every niggas flipping one week, niggas, you know what I'm saying, um backdooring, you know what I'm saying? People, it's just a lot of, especially in Chicago and shit like that. But it's a lot of that energy. No character to depend on. You know what I'm saying? We can't necessarily trust you and your word and what you know what I'm saying? You to have be cool one day and be a fucking devil the next day and shit like that. That ain't no motherfucking character dependence. You know what I'm saying? We need to be able to depend on your character and things. That's one thing, one way we can build the community healthy. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's too many times where people then switch sides on people, where people then um, you know what I'm saying, left people for dead and things of that nature. Usually why? Right? Because white man business and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got shit to do with your family. They ain't got shit to do with your people. It's all got some shit to do with your pockets, though. You know what I'm saying? It all got some shit to do with your pockets and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got shit to do with, you lifting nobody up. It's shit to do with your pockets, though. Real shit. Real shit. Real shit. Real shit. It got shit to do with people. So character dependence, that's one. Now the second thing that niggas need to have, you know what I'm saying, is shared sacrifice, right? Community requires inconvenience. If nobody gets uncomfortable, nobody is truly invested and shit like that. So if nobody niggas ain't getting uncomfortable, niggas ain't doing uncomfortable things, you know what I'm saying? Willing to set the boundaries, willing to have standards, willing to, like I said, we gonna choose ourselves over other people. You know what I'm saying? If we not doing that, then we not even on nothing like that. We ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? But shared sacrifice is a big one when it comes to building a community. Y'all gotta want to sacrifice the same things. Y'all gotta want to go hungry for the same things. Physically speaking and shit like that sometimes, but more so spiritually speaking. You know what I'm saying? We not fucking with this space and things of that nature because, yeah, it may look cool, it may look bedazzling for a moment, but we know if we always gonna have to come home, it's better to sustain this. So when we come back home, you know what I'm saying? You could be getting money, that person could be getting money, we all could be pouring back to ourselves, we all rich. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's not that. People be lost and shit like that. People don't really have no culture in black culture. They confused. Why? Because there's too many different blacks. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's cool. I understand what y'all saying in the black diaspora and shit like that. But still, niggas need to know where they come from. Still, niggas need to know, you know what I'm saying, how where their origins are, you know what I'm saying, or their story to some extent and things of that nature. Still, you need to try, you know what I'm saying, at least. And actually, we need to be putting our foot on the government's necks to make them make that make that system more efficient. You telling me we got AI and shit like that, and we, you know what I'm saying, we ain't got no fucking situation where we able to know who our granddads and shit like that is and all of that, all of these blood tests and shit. Y'all are horrible at keeping shit low key. They burnt a lot of that shit down in museums and shit. You know what I'm saying? Great fires and shit. The Great Fire, Chicago fire and shit, burning y'all history down. So that's another thing. Shared sacrifice we need. Another one, long-term thinking. This ties into what I was just talking about. You know what I'm saying? Legacy, community. You know what I'm saying? Honor. What we gonna create long term and shit like that. We only thinking about our lifetime and what selfish shit we got going to. And I always say, karma is not something you get back, but it's how you actually end up here. Let that sink in. Karma is not what you get back. It's how you end up here. So when you put in what you get back. So when you put in more work, when you put in more time, when you put in more persistence, you know what I'm saying, you actually get that back. All right. Now, another thing, we need resource circulation. How are we using what we got to build each other up? You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, we motherfuckers don't do that. Motherfuckers get what they own and they don't be building nobody up. You know what I'm saying? Don't be, and I'm not saying this is the only thing going on in black culture, but this is me dealing with my people right now. But this is also actually me dealing with other cultures too and shit like that. They got certain problems and things of that nature. Every culture ain't perfect, but you can see one is more um, privy to maybe indulging in more healthy ways of handling business than you may be or your family may be, and that matters. You know what I'm saying? People having good emotional states, people not being flunked out because they got motherfucking bills to pay, people, you know what I'm saying, that all matters down the line. That all matters. That all matters. So don't tell me it ain't about, spirituality. Don't tell me it ain't about, knowing how to know yourself. It is about that. It is about that. You pseudo. Don't be coming to me talking about, no, it ain't about no goddamn spirituality. It ain't about knowing yourself and things of that nature. It's about money. Okay, motherfucker, die and shit like that. Go into the motherfucking trap and things. And until we have the perspective, until people have this perspective, you know what I'm saying, that it will be broken. You know what I'm saying? We will be broken and continue to have a broken perspective and a lens that we looking through that's turmoil under the guise of hate, under the guise of self-hate. You know what I'm saying? Hate for each other and shit like that, jealousy and things, why we ain't in this position, selfishness and foolery amongst each other. Amongst each other and shit like that. So it's about having a cultural identity, having a cultural system. This is the things that people get motivated to. Black people don't got no culture and things. So their culture is to do the smaller version of what the white man do to each other. You know what I'm saying? Of what the white man did to y'all. Colonize, aka colonize. Forget where you came from. Forget the shit you did in the past. Forget the shit you did to Native Americans. Forget the shit and just do something new and things of that nature. Which reinforces not having nothing to live for. Because you don't really have shit to live for. You don't have no principles, no identity, unless it's what the white man allowed you to bring over here and get told to practice. You know what I'm saying? Get allowed to practice. Why you think there's a church on every corner and a liquor store next to it? In the hood. So it's about a cultural system. You know what I'm saying? It's about a cultural system. That way the system itself will prove to families it's worth it, instead of you trying to save your family on your own and things of that nature in some generic way that ain't even gonna lead to you doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna lead just to more turmoil and shit like that. Like everybody just run towards the rap game and shit like that because it looked like the savior and shit like that. And now they shifting it to the streamer game and stuff like that. Yet all control. Didn't I tell y'all all of them streamers was gonna go through psyops? Then I tell y'all all the streams go to say, y'all gotta be trusting what I be saying. I don't just be playing. Now, it's about a cultural system. That way, the system itself will prove to families if it's worth it, instead of you trying to save your family in some generic way that ain't even gonna lead to anything but ways to separate yourself from them because they lack them five qualities. They lack character dependence. You can't depend on them to know nothing about nothing. You can't depend on them to have shared sacrifice with you because they don't want to do it, or they want to spend their check on on this burger and shit like that instead of saving them $2 and shit like that to put in the pot to go towards your family and y'all legacy and things because they've been working all fucking 16 hours and shit like that, or however long they work and being cussed out or being, what I'm saying, put in some position. So people rather do that. So it ain't no shared sacrifice. They not gonna have no long term thinking. That leads to no long term thinking. That leads to no resource circulation and no emotional maturity. And oh yeah, that was another one. Emotional maturity. What are we learning? You know what I'm saying? How can we use our failures and grace to grow and learn? You know what I mean? If we ain't doing that, we ain't even using our grace and failures to grow and learn. We got to be emotionally mature. You know what I'm saying? This is the ability to say, okay, I know where I'm at. I'm willing to do the research and figure out where I'm at so I can figure out where I'm going. So when a person got cultural identity and things of that nature, they can always go back to that. If they don't got that, they just a slave or something like that. That's what it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be, and this thing is gonna be, man, fuck it, let's crash out. Let's crash out. Nothing to live for type shit. Y'all see they promote the problem. You know what I'm saying? Create the solution. Jail, They play all sides. They promote the problem, they create the solution, and things of that nature, and they motherfucking give you the identity and shit like that. Create the character too and shit like that. So it's just like, man. So that's why it's weird when you see a person like me being myself online. It's an energy behind that. It's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Now, another thing too, you don't have to be a foreigner by blood and things of that nature. Now they got it so easy now and shit like that. It's set up in y'all school system. It's set up in y'all motherfucking media. It's set up in y'all motherfucking black culture and things of that nature. Y'all can just be a degenerate and things of that nature. It's certain things that's tied to culture that when you participate in, the way they was built be, based on the magnitude of the people and shit like that, it's tied to certain things that you manifest and shit like that naturally that's good for you and things. If you don't do that, if you ain't in that space, if you ain't in that position, you ain't even ready to go to the next you ain't even ready to understand the next level. You don't gotta be a foreigner by blood. You know what I'm saying? You can be a foreigner in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So this is like a person that grew up, like I said, not give a fuck. Like dude that called what's the old dude out? You know, I know you're an old man, or say he called him an old man or something like that. But yeah, my daddy was dead for six. So I didn't have my granddaddy, so I don't give a fuck about my ancestors did or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem. You don't have no connection to home, so you don't have no pride in things. So you'll fall for anything. You don't got no pride in anything. You don't got no pride in anything. So respect people when you see they got pride about their culture. When you do that when you see a white person, you know what I'm saying, respecting and having pride for their culture or something like that, or a Chinese person and shit like that, a power and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't practice what you do, but as soon as y'all gotta make fun of black people or some shit like that. But yeah, so we got to keep discussing this. We got to keep detailing this so we can have the best knowledge and make it less about getting seen for money or culture that you in, or a culture that you in that's going to dissipate slowly. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that you need to practice too. Like understand, like if you ain't culture, this culture is going to dissipate slowly because it's no togetherness. It's all about money. That's why the rap game, where it could be, because it's not controlled by y'all. It's controlled by money. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really for y'all. Other than that, we would have togetherness. Other than that, y'all will own these record companies. But no, they can bargain and gain y'all, barter y'all for y'all to sell y'all homeboy out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one problem. You can sell your homeboy out, but the other problem is that your homeboy might damn near need to be sold out because he ain't gonna act right and he ain't gonna know the rituals that you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's be nice to this white person or, you know what I'm saying, call him yes sir or a couple times, maybe even feel on his butt a little bit, let him feel on yours or some shit. Whatever you into. But you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do them rituals and things that they not gonna do them rituals. So you know, man, this dude gonna stop me from getting this bag and shit like that with this person. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna bring them around by default type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or this person think they too highly of themselves. They gonna convince me, oh, I can't talk to. They're not gonna do them rituals and things of that nature. So that's one way that they not gonna participate. So you already know, like, man, that shit. I set that meeting up without do that. So I'm saying real shit. Set that meeting up without do. And things boom, and you got that situation. But this don't really further nothing, but us going deeper into situations of lost identity, black lostness, black retarded nation, you know, black something and things. So we not addressing the home, we not addressing the family. Okay. Uh, okay. So this is why, essentially, overall, this is why black people don't trust black people. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Why is you rebelling from your family 9 times out of 10 and shit like that? And I mean, I'm not saying white people don't experience too. this too. White people experience it in a different way. They kids rebel and shit like that because they want to feel something more, because they be tired of feeling like, they got everything but it ain't enough. Black people kids be rebelling because they don't got everything and shit like that, and they family ain't got them nothing. So it's like one stole from the other and shit like that, and each kid trying to get back what the other stole from the other type shit. Like it's deep. It's deep. So before we become culture warriors and things of that nature, we got to realize is the culture is fucked up and heal from that internal space as well as externally. So like I said, the first place you be should be healing from, you know what I'm saying, is your family. Your family. Learn about your family. Learn about the things that triggered you with your family. The things that made you um, look at the circumstance, the situation like it ain't for you. You know. Then once you do that, you can heal yourself. And have your own perspective and have your own perception of what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't heal from your family, but you also within that healing realize, okay, you know what I'm saying? These is the things that could be better. And I like these things, and I don't see nothing wrong with these things, even if my family didn't have it or not. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, you can heal yourself. And then, boom, now you on that cultural wave where it's the bigger picture. So now you a player within the community. You're a player within the environment. You got something to contribute and put it and bring it to others and things. You got something to bring to your neighbor. You got something to bring to your friend and stuff like that. And they might not get it at first and things, but you might be showing your culture. So yeah, we don't need no more lostness though. We don't need no more lostness. So let's bring it back to healing the home. Let's bring it back to healing the home and shit like that. So we got a little something now. We got podcasts, we got conversations, we got people actually bringing the podcast and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So you shout out to Vic Mensa like that, even though he being used and shit like that by the government and shit like that as a DEI psyop. But he trying to bring the the reason why he got views is because he's a lost black person. You know what I'm saying? And y'all champion him like his not like it, it, and shout out to him, like I said, shout out to him because he shouted out the Native Americans too and things. But he just being used as a symbol of what they want black people to be at the moment, which is lost basically. You know what I'm saying? He just lost and shit like that. But yeah, so bringing it back, like I said, this is the type of realization we got to have. The realization of value, of pride, of something to look forward to, of culture. This is what we feel like is worth working together. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone will be on one accord. You know what I'm saying? Everyone will know, okay, the thick of it. Okay, I know that this is why I'm into this. So I'm about to speak this and shit like that. And I know that your black ass ain't the same as me and things. You probably ain't had, your family probably ain't had the same experience. Your family probably came over here a couple boats, and so you may have it good, because that confused and that brings anger. You know what I'm saying? When you looking up and stuff like that, you like, damn, how the fuck I get born under, you know what I'm saying, these poverty situations. This black person seemed like they cool and shit like that. No, that black person was probably with the program a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Probably with the program. Their parents was or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It was with the program more than you and shit like that. They was with the program more than you and your family and things. Your family was probably fighting the whites and shit like that. So that's why you got slain and reclassified and recalled something and mixed in with people and shit like that. It's like you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand the position that you in to know where you're going and things of that nature. And they gotta understand the position that we in and shit like that. So it don't gotta be about just getting attention. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, on some level, it do look like it's just about getting attention for being black and shit like that, and that's cool. But every black person, this is why you're starting to have these branches, FBAs, and you know what I'm saying, all of that woo wop the band, because now it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, niggas gotta get a little bit more specific and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially after things like DEI, where they just loop y'all all in together and shit like that, and shit. And your people may as well have way more rights, or should have way more rights to this land, to this authority than they people and shit like that. But you getting most disrespected. You getting the most told you ain't. You know what I'm saying? You getting all that energy on some bullshit because how it's been designed. So this is y'all understand. Y'all gotta watch my video on native hobbyism and things of that nature. Your quickest way to success in America is acting like Native Americans don't exist. So the more you can be lost and like have a you know what I'm saying, or especially as a black person, if you just a part of that culture, that's just your culture and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just your culture. But if the more way as a black person you can get successful is, you know what I'm saying, play native hobbyism, destroy your community. You know what I'm saying? Act like a lost person in your community. That's like a comedian or somebody that don't give a fuck about history or whatever, that's on drugs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. This is the way you can get success. Let you come talking some shit like that. It's like I'm talking. See how quick you get motherfucking put at the back of the line. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta make them deal with this shit. Y'all gotta make them deal with them needing to have something for y'all to find y'all history, how y'all repatriation and shit like that, and deal with that shit. They can do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Stop letting them be lazy. You know what I'm saying? So the first mission before we get online, being culture warriors and shit like that, is to heal the home and shit like that. So yeah, shout out to everybody and shit like that that's been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Talking about your home, talking about your identity and things of that nature, being comfortable with your identity and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is the start of the expansion. You know what I'm saying? This is the start of us being a little bit more vulnerable to the situation and things of that nature. But we can't get lost in, okay, we getting this attention from white boy and shit like that. Now we gotta be, you know what I'm saying, oh, we Hollywood or something like that. No, keep the conversation in the community. If they giving you something, you know what I'm saying, keep real talking points from the community. Keep, you know what I'm saying, the fire from the community. Keep what you hearing from your neighbor. We gotta value each other and things, because we gotta start working together. That's the only way we gonna win and things of that nature. It's so hard to work with another individual right now because of your responsibilities and things of that nature. It's so hard to put your family on information, or because you ain't got no situation that cater to your family in a way that information needed to be fold. No, you categorize under black and things like that. You either low class, you middle class, or you a little bit upper class and shit like that. Y'all all got one template and shit like that. And likely, if you wasn't born here, if you was born here and things, and your parents is foreigners, you born up under the concept of erasure and shit like that. If your parents don't know who they are and things of that nature, and now if they teach you who they are and whatever, that's good. But likely, if you don't know who you are and shit like that, you don't know if you African or whatever, you got to go through this history sample ancestry thing, whatever. You got to do. Likely your people was embedded in the situations of U.S. history and colonization. You know what I'm saying? So that's the people that's really, really mixed in and things of that nature. Really went through the struggle, and it was good. It wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. It wasn't. You had people on certain levels that lived a better life that did with that, because you know what I'm saying, of their ability to be like, man, fuck it, I don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? But you also have fighters and shit like that. And y'all ancestors probably the most poorest and stuff. So that's why y'all rebellious to the system now. That's why y'all don't fuck with the system now. That's why y'all want to go to college now. That's why you don't want to kiss ass now. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just kiss ass and be a part of the social norm now. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't your culture, but you don't know that and shit like that. You just feel like you rebellious, and you will let them build you guilt in that situation. If you ain't strong enough, spiritually strong enough, where you will create some situation where you kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? Where it's whether it's through food, whether it's through, you know, being involved into the wrong things because of lack of culture, you know, or it could be, um, shit, you create, put yourself in some psyop or some shit like that. You kill your spirit and things. You sign your soul over to the devil because you think, oh, I gotta make it and shit like that. But you're not really. You finna be a slave and things. So this is the whole context of what actually needs to be healed in this conversation. So shout out to motherfuckers for bringing the conversation, but until we understand and we heal this broken lens that we looking at culture through, that we all black and everybody should just shut the fuck up and it's just black people. No, sir. Cultural identity brings, power and things. Some people just got their language erased. Some people just got their spiritual system erased because of one group of people that wanted to come over here that didn't feel like it was necessary for y'all to have y'all shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, y'all gotta look up shit. They didn't want y'all to have shit. This not your language. This was a created language between a Native American and, you know what I'm saying, Spanish and shit like that. It's not like no real language. America just got classified as a motherfucking real language. So this not no real language. This not no language of nobody's culture. This is a language of what America people was doing together to understand each other, type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm opening it up for questions or whatever and things of that nature. But you know what I'm saying? We just gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. We don't want to just get caught in no psyop where you don't understand. Like you're part of the joke. You know what I'm saying? You're part of the joke. Like they're boosting you up because they know you not finna do the thing. So they know they know you not finna bring the substance. So they know you a lost cause and things of that nature. So they want to lead you to being the biggest lost person and things of that nature so other people can follow you and shit like that and be lost. And now, you know what I'm saying? You Kanye West and shit like that. Crying on stage because you got to do power and shit like that, realizing that you ain't got no power in Mexico. And all of your time, all of the energy you put in, all the sleepless nights you put in the studio, all of the you know what I'm saying? You believe that shit. You believe that shit. So you tell me who contributed to the genocide of y'all authority as a culture? Is it just white people or is it y'all too? Okay then. That sounds like it's an internal problem too. It's an internal problem too. So these are things that niggas gotta understand and shit like that. Y'all just can't be participating in anything. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is running situations, running blocks, running, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And we just gotta add on now and shit like that, whatever. But that don't mean you gotta be add on in a weak way. No, you get some spirituality about yourself and learn how to create your angle and things of that nature where it's respected. It ain't about being cute and shit like that. You know, it's about being respected and having something that's substantial to say and shit like that. And that stands corrected where it don't matter. If you put that energy out, it stands corrected in the world. It stands corrected under the eyes of things, and they can't debunk it. All they gonna do is try to block you and make sure you don't got no platform and stuff like that. But once it's so powerful and things of that nature, other people start being into what you into. Other people start leaning more because celebrity energy is out. It don't even matter no more. What matters is about you know a person what they have to offer. You know what I'm saying? And people can feel that energy beyond what they may be distracted with right now, and for the moment being, and shit like that. So that people, y'all learn how to distract yourself. Y'all keep distracting yourself and things of that nature. That's what y'all cling to. But that's a coping mechanism. Y'all not really understanding that as a community. You know what I'm saying? They giving y'all these things to cope, with certain things. It's cool like listening to some music and shit, but some of that shit affecting you negatively is a true thing. You not understanding energy, you manifesting shit off that shit is a true thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the right space, the right spiritual space to actually be, not affected in a negative way. And says, and sometimes it's just culture, shit, just having a culture. You're not finna do that because that ain't part of who you is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, just things for y'all to be on the lookout for, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is what Black unity actually requires, and for y'all not to get lost and everybody start thinking Black unity is getting online and talking about what's going on in the news or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. But yeah, shit's good. But I appreciate y'all so much coming out to my talk and shit like that. Because this is a problem. You want to work with your family member right now to get millions. You want to work with your best cousin right now to get millions. You want to put your family and your friends and put them in a group chat and let's get millions and actually commit to that. Why you can't do that? Because of white man colonization, and because where you got to spend your time and the things that you have to do for to uphold that, whether that's keep them out the business, go to work, you know what I'm saying, not bringing that person around because the person that's giving you the money don't like them or something like that. That means you at the mercy of another person. You don't have no sovereignty. You don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a problem. Understand what you're up under and things. Understand why it's going on. You still in colonization slavery. Other than that, go build a school. Go get a street. Go get a block. Go get a building and not have to pay property taxes on stolen land. It's a cold game out here. Yeah, it may be subtle. You know what I'm saying? Because this is not things that we cling to and things of that nature, and black people don't got no culture. So it's not worry, but this is actually a problem. It's actually horrible. And the reason why black people and Africans and stuff like that is frustrated because nobody understands where the actual energy is stemming from. Nobody understands the identity of what we call it home. Nobody understands their identity. We only know utilizing others' identity to survive and to be liked. That's a problem. But you don't let nobody do that to you. You don't let nobody do that to your family. You don't let nobody do that to your people. You don't let nobody do that to your daughters, your sons, your grandma, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And at least without trying. You get what I'm saying? So ain't nothing without family. Ain't nothing without that energy. It's only you being having to find some external pleasure to to substitute the hurt, the pain, the loss you feel, you know, the hopelessness you feel, the struggle you feel, substituting drugs, alcohol, food, and things. Y'all can think it's not a problem if y'all don't want to. Spending money to pay other people to get a high from the loss you feel. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. So understand they gonna give you a figure that's lost. They always gonna promote that. From rappers that don't know their history, you don't see nobody that don't know their history. Kanye West tried it. He didn't know his history enough though. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know his situation enough. He didn't know the magic enough. He didn't know he kind of a foreigner too. His mom knows she Nigerian. If your mom knows she Nigerian, likely y'all got connection to y'all history. Y'all probably didn't come over here too much. If your mom know y'all where y'all from or whatever, y'all if y'all mama don't know where you from, your daddy don't know where they from, they likely was embedded in the early colonization phases, whether they got brought over here mixed in with Native Americans or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they played a dirty game. They played a dirty, dirty game and laughed at it and still make jokes about it every day. Y'all don't see it. Y'all don't understand how to have that lens. Y'all don't understand how to have that lens. Y'all don't understand how why they call the right feminist and stuff like that. They're feminine. Do y'all know the Native Americans created the Democratic script, the Democratic Party? They created the Constitution. The reason why they feminized that, obviously, because it's two nuances to that. One nuance is that the feminine aspect of um, having uh, the feminine aspect of inclusion and shit like that was a Native American thing. Y'all can look that up as a history. We always included our women as chiefs and chiefstess of the tribe and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why now that's why and even in these days we learn and grow to respect the woman. That's why black American men and shit like that um cater to the romance energy, cater to the boss bitch energy and shit like that because we that's kind of embedded in the culture of Native Americans and what they set for way before the foreigner came here. So that's one part. Another part is that um, they make fun of it because they demonize it. They think it's demonic having a woman be in the household and having a woman speak. So this is where you get this red pill, alt right energy and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Right wing shit. But they say y'all left people and shit like that. Y'all feminists. So you only get this is why they got rappers becoming punks, becoming zesty. It's a play on a Native American flamboyancy and shit like that, where we colorful and you know what I'm saying, the way we did and thought, you know what I'm saying. But they're doing it in their own way. So you gotta be punk. You gotta wear purses and shit like that. They're always sarcastically making fun of something. Like y'all don't understand like how simple it is and how dumb it is at the same time. It's a dumb concept when you think about it. But they think because they came over here and they had these thoughts to colonize y'all and shit like that. This is how you should think. This is what allowed y'all shit to get taken over. So this is what they gotta uphold as a lower nature that y'all in, and that their higher nature is that, and moving with secrecy or something like that, and moving in plain sight type shit, while taking y'all and playing y'all culture in y'all faces. The chief of office, the president. Where y'all think they got that from? So I'm telling y'all to get deep. So it ain't just about, oh, the black person needs to, oh, I'm a black kid in America experiencing, racism and shit like that. I've seen real shit. People done got their whole shit done 10 times worse at things. You know what I'm saying? Where's the real conversation? Where's the real topic of how to heal each other and shit like that? How to heal the circumstance of situation. If you ain't talking about it from my way, then you lost. I'm here to say it. I'm here to say it. I'm here to say it. Other than that, you go with your family and do something. You know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna be able to do that unless you ain't got no foreign energy and shit like that. We are actually look at Africans and shit like that, like they got the cheat code over here and shit like that. Like, god damn, how the fuck they get? You know what I'm saying? We be looking at other black people that's kind of foreigners and shit like that. Like, god damn, these niggas got a little cheat code or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, living good, Christmas good and shit like that, and all type of shit. Like, god damn, what y'all done got? You know what I'm saying? What y'all got hold to? Let us get some of that energy. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck y'all riding new cars and shit like that? All of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it ain't no hatred. It's just misunderstanding us coming up under shit and thinking like, oh, we black, so we supposed to kind of be able to experience the same thing the next black person experiencing. Not motherfucker. You got a whole uh line of history that f's you over. You know what I'm saying? That they don't even want your bloodline in power. They don't even care about your look. You know what I'm saying? They don't want your look. You gotta be light skinned, you gotta be mixed, or you gotta be had a light skin mentality, aka you not finna talk about nothing that go against their policies and shit like that. Point blank period. You a light skinned man inside. Or even if you dark as Wesley Snipes in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Real shit. They gonna do nothing but throw you in jail or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the blacks and shit like that. Y'all psyops. They let you build them up and think that they ain't got creativity to attract somebody to their network or nothing. So they finna use somebody like R. Kelly, somebody like Bill Cosby, let him do what he do and shit like that. Rub their hands and shit like that. Take they publishing away. Boom, it's gone. Boom, it's gone. They put him in jail and shit like that. Some white man eating off Michael Jackson. Some white man eating off R. Kelly publishing. Some white man, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying these people did nothing right or nothing like that, but this is what they do. This is what they do. Shout out to Rasta. He said connecting and all. Real shit. This is what they do, man. This is what they do. It's a sad game. It's a sad game. It's a sad game. It's a sad game. So yeah, man. This is what real black unity actually requires. For us to connect with our home and shit like that. For us to know where we are, where we at, and shit like that, and for us to get more vulnerable. Yeah, yeah. You want to embrace that. You want to paint. You want to do stuff with your family. You want to be able to, you know what I'm saying, connect with your friends and shit like that. You want to be able to start business and shit like that. But that you can't do that. You can't do that because your time is required to serve the white man and shit like that. So they train y'all like that since coming up and shit like that. If white boy ain't come over here, it might not be half of the systems that they had. Now, Native Americans have their own systems and shit like that. Especially the ones we teach each other, like common sense and shit like that. That's actually the as far as the Americas and shit like that. That's the one we teach. That's the one we learning from the native spirits that's already been here and shit like that. Common sense, how to see certain things, how to feel spiritual things and stuff like that. That's that type of system and shit like that. And the ones that we share with Africans and shit like that, they had their own spiritual systems, especially the ones that fought with us and shit like that. Because everyone didn't fight with us, but it was some that did. It was some that, you know what I'm saying, wasn't with slavery and shit like that. Wasn't with you know, certain things. You know what I'm saying? So it get deep. It get deep. It requires us to think. It requires us to think. So it requires you to be present, you know what I'm saying, amongst your fellow person and speak out and heal this. We got Jupiter retrograde for a minute, so we got time and stuff like that. But once Jupiter retrograde go direct and shit like that, you know what I'm saying, we back in the direct thing. So we got to direct that energy somewhere and things. And like I said, it's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying. We all black power and shit like that, and all amongst each other. But it's just more so. It's like we all within that diaspora and shit like that. It's just got to be some type of coordination and things. Not there's one of us hating each other. That ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Hating on each other and shit like that. Y'all got what y'all got. We got what we got. We combine and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And we do that in small instances. We may not be able to, you know, do shows and stuff like that right now, but support. You know what I'm saying? Share. You know what I'm saying? Like a video. You know what I'm saying? Express your connection to this, or how you see fit. This is all that matters. This what matters. So yeah, I mean, shit, man. We more than an hour in. But overall, man, I appreciate everybody for coming out and that you're spending your time here. You know, let me see if there's anything else before I close out. I just was like I said before like I said, at the end of the day, we got to heal the home. You know what I'm saying? We got to heal the home and things of that nature. So you get your bread and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Put it into healing your family. Even if that don't even got to be, you know what I'm saying, you starting off, you would get them giving them money and shit like that. Create a plan. Create a way that y'all feel like y'all can be the representation of liberation where people want to give y'all attention and things. Not you just want to get attention because you learning, like I said, people watch what people do. You know what I'm saying? So if you just jumping online and speaking like like you just need liberation and you just need reparations for blacks and shit like that. Black people looking at you like, man, you damn near not even black type shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and but you showing us that's what we gotta do. You showing us that's what we gotta do. We just gotta hop online and do and play a character. You're not showing us that the actual work it takes. You know what I'm saying? The conversations that we gotta have, the system that we gotta have. You know what I'm saying? The emotional management we gotta have. Then I say the five things. I don't want to keep going over and over again, but like I said, I feel like this conversation is important. So I do want to, what I'm saying, touch on as many things as possible and things so, this can be out in the world and we can start moving on, energetic wise and things of that nature. So once we got our mind and we create awareness in another space and things of that nature, we start developing thoughts and feelings, what I'm saying, which eventually, creating a mind, your first body, and what that means. This is all right. So perfect example. You know how people come up to you and be like, "Man, how you doing?" Right? And you're gonna be like, your general answer may be like, I'm good, I'm good. But what you're gonna go back to after you answer that is you're gonna go back to all the thoughts and feelings that's on your mind to be like, man, shit. Now you might not say it out loud, but like, man, shit, I'm tired as fuck. I don't even like, I hate everything right now. So that's what's on your mind. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about managing what's on your mind and things of that nature because you might have things that's on your mind that that may be keeping you in a negative space and things of that nature. You gotta stimulate the mind. You gotta be able to bring it out of negative spaces. It's spiritually traveling and shit like that. But this is a whole another video and shit like that. I don't want to get into all that. Let's just keep this video surface level and things like that. We'll get into more videos later. Man, I'm Calcito, the spirit coach, getting you in shape and form for the age of Aquarius. You're now drinking the wine of Zeus. All right, get your ass in the game.